Nostalgia. It's probably the most natural feeling in the world for humans because humans learn from the past. And if we have an emotional connection to the past and things that happened in the past, then we are more likely to survive. It is, for that reason, a deeply rooted thing. And companies know this. Companies for years and years have been doing market research and all of the kinds of psychological studies and sponsoring studies into all of the aspects of human behavior. Now, this is an incredibly cynical view of things. Of course, these people in these companies are also parts of, they're also a part of us. They're also humans, but they don't fall for the marketing stuff because they're able to spot it. Now, I'm going to try and give you the skill of being able to spot the nostalgia traps and all of the various traps that these companies try to set for you. But first of all, we've got to go into what is nostalgia. What actually is it? Like I said, it's a familiarity. It's a feeling of warmness that comes with the past. It's a feeling of understanding that everything is going to be okay because this one thing still exists. I'm vulnerable to it, you're vulnerable to it, and to some extent, everybody on the planet is probably vulnerable to it, or feels a warm, fuzzy feeling when they see something from their past. But it is exploitable. And large corporations seriously know how to exploit it now. When it comes to Pokemon, they simply have to flash up an image of Pikachu. People will go, oh my god, it's Pikachu, like the meme. When it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dark Magician and Blue Eyes White Dragon, some of the first monsters featured on the show will appear, and fans of that will go, oh my god, it's the big two. It's one of those things where the longer you see it, the more you notice it. And the more that you notice that everything that we do is influenced by the decisions that we've made in the past. And they know this. And that is what gives them a stable customer base. These big, large mega corporations. They know that they are able to manipulate us by stroking this part of the human psyche that is entirely dedicated to associating recall with emotions and the value of survival, the network that exists in our brain that allows for this sort of sense of survival, sense of security, safety, exploiting this network that exists deep within our minds. Now, is nostalgia necessarily bad? No. As I say, it's probably what kept us here. It is like collective memory. A lot of species experience collective and genetic memory, but for us, this is our version of that. It is, in our lifetime, nostalgic memory. It is the memory of the thing that we had when we were developing. The dangers, perhaps, is a completely different network, but the positive things, the things we saw on television, the things we experienced, the places we went, all of this is a kind of mapping that our brain does. And it does it so that we can pass this information on to future generations. And indeed, we do recall these things that happen to us, these positive things that happen to us, and we share them with other people because we think that they are valuable. We think that they have value to other people's lives. And perhaps they do, or perhaps they don't, but they ultimately are a part of us. They're a thing that we love. Now, I lost something of my nostalgia or my nostalgic complex in growing up. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of being exploited out of my money. Because, in truth, and I will get more into this, it's a fallacy. It's a lie. Nostalgia can be positive. It can be a good thing. It can be a thing that just exists within us. But the nostalgia trademark, as I'd like to call it, that is bullshit. The idea that the only way that you can enjoy Pikachu or anything like that, or Zippy from, I think it's Rainbow, um, any of these shows, any of these things from the past, the idea that you can only experience nostalgia by paying money is a supreme form of financial manipulation and a rewriting of reality, of course. I hate that companies are doing this. I hate that the Pokemon Company is exploiting people's desire for these characters, for these cards, for these things that otherwise, realistically speaking, we all should have moved on from a long time ago. Or perhaps gone, oh wow, that's amazing. But instead, the fever pitch, the hype, is so insane now that it's become desperate. It's become hungry, starving, like beasts that have not been fed for years and years. They want, and to some extent, I include myself in this, they want these cards, they want these collectibles, they want these things because it brings them closer to a positive time. And I get it. I really do. But the dispenser of these good times is not the mega corporation. It is not the corporation that constantly takes the same ideas and does not innovate on them and does not do any kind of positive or good or anything like that. It is not the company that financially exploits you. It is not the company that tries to grasp and grab every penny out of your pocket. They are not the dictators of your past, your history, these lovey-dovey, wonderful, warm feelings of nostalgia. They can't be. Because if they are, we're all fucked. We're all gone. Simply put, there's no two ways around it. So in the end, we have to take back control. Now, the Pokemon 30th is a nightmare. And it's a nightmare because there's too many exclusive sets, there's too many exclusive things, there's too many things that people really, really will want, but inevitably the people who will be laughing all the way to the bank is a handful of scalpers who sell to content creators and make a huge amount of money, huge markup, because they got there first. And then the rest will be left holding heavy bags because this set is going to be mass produced. But still, people feel these bubbling, warm, nostalgic feelings for these things. They still want Espeon. Espeon's the best. They still want Umbreon. Umbreon's the best. They still want Pikachu. They still want all of these things in the set. Everybody wants them. But now I don't feel that way anymore. I used to, and I used to have love, and I still have a binder, and I still have a thing that keeps me sort of connected to the game, and a bunch of cards still. But I feel much more cynical about it now, because when I look at Pikachu, I don't see what I saw before. I see cynical, cold, corporate Japanese businessmen saying, how do we get these stupid fucks to do exactly what we want? How do we take more money for us, give opportunities to scalpers and scammers, and how do we make it so that the world continues to love our product and product line that should have logically died. Pick your point in time. It should have died a long time ago because they're not innovating. How do we innovate zero, and yet get all of the money that we can possibly get? Pokemon's not the only one who does this. As I said, Yu-Gi-Oh does it all the time. Whenever they're losing money, all of a sudden, we get a whole bunch of Dark Magician cards. Whenever we're losing, whenever they're losing players, they're losing players constantly from attrition, death, or something else, they bring out the nostalgic cards. And like idiots, everybody rushes in and jumps into it. And a part of me watches everything that's going on and says, wow, what a bunch of idiots. But another part of me goes, hey, cool, they got a silly Exodia. Works on me too. This circuit is in all of us. It's the thing that draws us to situations that are toxic. Old workplaces that you've missed, looking for jobs, searching for jobs, going back to conditions that made you fucking miserable because, quite simply, they were nostalgic. This circuit is antithetical to survival of us. It's good for if you're in the wild and you remember that nostalgic spot where you found those berries. But in terms of when we look at the whole picture of life beyond the wild, if that exists, a different kind of wild perhaps, we see a circuit that is open and you can put anything there. You can exploit the human brain so easily for so cheap. Just get them used to seeing the image over and over again. Build an association over and over again. Market the thing over and over again. If that doesn't work, go to the second circuit, which is open and right next to it. Obviously, in terms of the way that the brain works, it's not actually next to it. It's probably a different part of the brain, but it's an open circuit. And the other part is FOMO. FOMO also carries an element of nostalgia to it, but that's something that I can talk about another day. We are not sick as a people for having this circuit. We are just human. But they know that, and they are counting on that. They're counting that we are vulnerable. They're counting on the fact that we hate our lives, or hate aspects of our lives, hate our jobs perhaps, hate, the fact that we are so disconnected from a childhood that went so fast. We've got all of this adulthood to live. It's the most honest analysis I can give you. We are all broken people. But here comes Pikachu, your old pal, your old friend, to say hello. Come back to me. And behind Pikachu is actually a boardroom of executives, of people who are all making decisions, manipulating and pulling the strings. And it is ultimately what is driving all of this. A sick corporate game where they plug and play and poke at the nodules of your brain until we're all putty in their hands. And it works every time. From car manufacturers to literally children's television shows. And what happens when nostalgia isn't played into? What happens to all of those franchises that die? Like Bionicle. That's the real nostalgia, isn't it? Nostalgia is pain. Nostalgia hurts. And there is nothing, and I mean nothing, more addictive than a kind of pain that tweaks, gives a little bit of pleasure. That's what nostalgia is. It hurts just right, makes you want more. And in the end, it can form an addiction. A lot of the behaviors that people are showing right now are pathological, eccentric, and hyper fixated behaviors that are all circling around Pokemon and other collectibles. But when you get stuck with the heavy bags, when you get stuck with too much, what then? When you put out loans, or you take out loans rather, and you sacrifice your paychecks because you want to be part of the exploiters of that nostalgia, and then that goes away, what then? You still got bills to pay. Life didn't stop. You're obsessed with exploiting people, taking from people, and evil deserves punishment, man. It really does. Whether it's the people who are tweaking the internal makings of what makes us human, or whether it's the people who are exploiting the people who are actually trying to feel these emotions, such as the scalpers. Oh yeah, they'll pay 10 times more, it's fine. They all deserve what's coming to them. They all deserve to feel the heat, the punishment. I have nothing against Pokemon as an idea, as a thing, as a bunch of games to play, as a card game. I have nothing against Yu-Gi-Oh! I have nothing against any of these things. But you have to see what I see, and what many people are starting to see now, thankfully, on YouTube. I'm not alone. Worst feeling in the world being alone in analysis of all of these things. Feeling like you're being the cynical guy in the room. And indeed, bigger YouTubers are trying to make me feel like I'm the only guy in the room because it's financially convenient. No, not alone. There are plenty of people who are seeing it. Seeing the cold cynicism of Pokemon. Especially, big thing that woke me up was when they tried to take down Palworld. And failed. Yes, they failed. So, just be aware. Companies are not your friends. Companies will sell you. They'll sell you. They'll sell your organs. They don't care. They'll take everything you've got and demand more. Companies are cold, evil, cruel things that exist 6 months outside of the law. Something goes wrong, something drastic, something dramatic goes wrong, legally speaking. We won't hear about it for 6 months. More than likely, unless it's like an ecological disaster. They've got months and months, if not years, of buffer, financial buffer, to make sure that their asses are covered. They've got more money, especially the big ones, than anything else, and will just simply plaster over any problem. These companies, and in fact all companies, are not your friends. Especially the ones that are exploiting your nostalgia circuit. Especially the ones that are trying to manipulate you into buying things you don't need. Whether that's a company or an individual. Ask yourself in any given situation, am I being manipulated? Am I being manipulated? Ask it every time. And ambiently, even if it doesn't really stick, try to cultivate this thought pattern in any given situation where they're demanding something of you. think the words, I am being I am being manipulated. How? And then make a list. I hope that helps. That is the start to breaking the programming, breaking the conditioning. We'll all be vulnerable to it. We all are. Everybody. I still feel a huge connection to Pokemon. I still feel a huge connection to all of these franchises. The way to keep yourself sane, the way to keep yourself out of the clutches of these people, these manipulators, is to identify what they are trying to do and say, no, not me. You're not taking my money. You're not using the aspect that I have inside of me to inform or to basically make money, to get bigger, get fatter. That's what you've got to think. It's the only way to break this. And I hope it works. Thank you for listening.